Hey, Grandma. Could you please state your full name?
Oh, my full name is Edith Batiste.
And when were you born?
I was born February the 5th, 1934.
And where are your parents from?
My mother was from DeLille, Mississippi, and my father was from New Orleans, Louisiana.
And how were you as a child?
As a child, I was a very precocious little child.
Wait, what number are you?
I'm out of 16 children. I'm the number 11.
And are you the last girl or
No.
which?
There's behind me. There's 3 girls and 2 boys.
Okay. And do you feel like you were a nice mix between not like being spoiled, but you were like still a caretaker and stuff? Or do you feel like everything was given to you?
Of course not. Coming from a family of 16, we were taught to be of service.
Mm-hmm.
And we were always taught to share with not only our family, but with others.
Yes, ma'am.
And we were brought up in a very Christian atmosphere. And we were always taught never to fight with one another. So even though there were 16 of us, there was never any fighting. I mean, we had disagreements.
Yeah.
And we were able to take and verbalize that.
Mm-hmm.
But when it come to anything outside of that, that was definitely something that my mother and father didn't tolerate.
Yes, ma'am. Did you? Well, okay, so you didn't fight with your siblings.
No.
But did you ever have physical fights with any of the
Yes.
neighborhood kids?
Yes, sure did. Yes, I most certainly did.
Okay, name one of them.
Like I said, the children probably during my era was not as brazen as these kids are now.
Yes, ma'am.
But there was still those who tried to take and bully you.
Mm-hmm.
But I was a kid that I guess I just always had enough confidence in myself that I wasn't going to be taken advantage of.
Yeah.
And like I would be in the position that even those some of my sisters who were older than me but didn't want to mix up things like I did. You know, I had to get in there and fight for them.
Okay.
So like I say, I'll be perfectly honest. Yeah, I would fight, and so much so my mama said, "Baby, please don't go to high school fighting."
So high school is when you gave up your fighting days?
Yeah, I gave it up.
Grandma.
I wouldn't fight.
Oh my
I
gosh.
gave it up.
Okay, so what type of view do you think your parents had of you?
They a little girl who, well, like I say, they say a little busybody. That was one of the terminologies.
Oh.
You understand? And felt that I was a child far older than my years.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
So you were more mature compared to your peers?
Mm-hmm.
Is that because of your other siblings? you think? Or just a standard that was set for you guys during
Well,
that
I guess
time?
because coming from a big family like that, and all of those that were older than me, and I guess we always tried to exemplify what was portrayed
Yeah.
from them. So,
what do you think your parents' vision was for your life? What do you think they wanted you to do, or?
well, their vision, now my vision for me was I really wanted to be a dancer,
Oh, for real?
of course. And I was very talented in uh, being able to dance.
Yes, ma'am.
But my parents felt that that was not what they were concerned with in terms of me wanting to do. And so their things was like, being maybe a teacher,
Okay.
going on to explore things that they felt brought more prestige to your life and to the family.
Yes, ma'am.
So then my next thing was I always did love poetry, and I used to do a whole lot of reciting, but I never realized that in my later years that this is what I would become.
What is it that you enjoyed about dancing?
The freedom of really being to express myself. And when I say express myself, that brought me outside of the facade of just the little basic things in life, but allow me to really get in touch with the inner one in my life.
Yes, ma'am. What is your favorite type of dance?
Well, I really love ballet. I really did. Now, and aside from ballet, you understand, I was truly in touch with the dances of the day. And so at that time, my older brother Edward, and he was a very good athlete and a very good dancer too. And so we used to do what they call the ballroom dance.
Oh, for real?
Yep.
Cool. Grandma, why you don't take no ballroom classes now?
Well, I haven't known about anybody, I've
Yes,
seen it
ma'am.
on television where, they had these people doing it, you understand? But I definitely was very into the ballroom dancing.
And so as a kid you wanted to be a dancer? And is there any particular place you wanted to dance? Like anywhere in the world?
Not really. It was just the idea that that was my way of wanting to really express me as an individual.
Did you go to school dances and stuff, or nightclubs?
Not until I was married did I ever go to the nightclub.
Did you dance at the nightclub?
Yeah, dance at the nightclub.
Yes, ma'am.
But I never go to no nightclub before I got married. Mom and them didn't allow that kind of foolishness.
Okay. So who is your role model, or who is your role model?
My daddy, mom.
Why did you choose them?
Because all of the positive encounters that he taught us and Mama taught us.
Mm-hmm.
Understand? So, like I said, in my poetry, I've written about my mom and dad. I don't know. Would you like to hear what I wrote about them?
Yes.
Wait a minute. Just a second. Just a second. Glasses. Okay, you want me to do my daddy's first or mama?
Whichever one you want to do, Grandma.
All right.
It's all up to you.
Okay, I'm gonna do. I'll do mama's first.
Okay.
My mama, with the warmth of the sun and the grace of God, 16 seeds she bore with love. With an understanding heart and positive thought, her children were taught to obey. Oh, mama, with the patience of Job, running to and fro, with the nursery school of little children, off in her apron she'd go, extending a hand to all, turning no one away, sewing and cooking from sun up to sundown, with a smile, seldom a frown. With a soft heart and a cheery eye, she greeted all passing by. When Mama would go downtown, oh, how we little chaps would stand and cry. But with a trusting heart, we'd play and wait, standing at the gate, swinging on the tree limbs, pulling the little flowers, musing to the sky with a wondering eye, sensing the warmth of the sun when we'd see old Mama come. And as she would try to open the gate, to her side we'd come, jumping with glee, overwhelmed with joy. Those precious moments, oh, that divine loving soul, oh Mama. With a golden aura all burdens could bear, made one forget all of their anxious cares. Yes, we all laid our burdens on old Mama's chest, and with the strength of Gibraltar, she solved them all. May we stand tall to the monument born of love, trust, hope, with purpose, humble, yet confident. Oh, Mama, glory be to God. And my daddy a child's savior in Mama's world, ruled with a stern face and an iron fist, with a heart of gold and a positive voice, his children he did control. Mama too stood tall when old daddy's voice shook the walls. 'Twas the anxious cares and dreams he had for us all. My daddy, with that heavy mail sack on his back for 41 years, pardon me if I shed tears. 'Twas the thought of my daddy, a man among men, who had a strong principles that he didn't hesitate to defend. Daddy wore patched up shirts and holes in his shoes to send 16 children to school. I remember well the stories he would tell about the great black race, colored then. People like Marcus Garvey, Bunk Johnson, George Washington Carver, Fannie B. Williams, Roland Hayes, Marion Anderson, Frederick Douglass. Oh yes, my daddy had Bible class with us. In God he did trust. His daily prayer was, for the love that passeth all understanding. Oh, I can hear the sound of that old violin, playing air for the G string, Tramarai, Thais. We all played instruments then. They used to call us the Long Draws Orchestra. The people used to laugh and prate, but no one could break the faith we had in my daddy. He was well respected, if not always liked, because folk knew he stood for what was right. My daddy, a man who could walk with kings and still be tall. He left a legacy for us all.
Grandma, dang, dude, I don't know what to say.
Now,
Are those two of your favorite poems?
now, you want to hear one of my most favorite poems?
Yes, ma'am.
It's called Admonition. The age in which we live beckons us as a people to reassess our values and principles, that we may have a keener insight into our purpose in this life. The only means by which we are able to attain such a feat is through knowing self. This is not an easy task to undertake, but the benefits derived for those who dare to trod will open many avenues, lending itself to the understanding of knowledge and human differences. We who have accepted the responsibility of playing an intricate role in directing and assisting others in their plight to reach the goals we have attained have an obligation to not only meet, but fulfill in terms of growth and development of knowledge. We must not shirk our duties through means of making concessions for our limitations, or temporarily soothing our egos by way of the age-old device of rationalization, diverting our attentions from our existing failures that could actually be turned into success by accepting whatever we term as a problem into a learning experience regardless to the adversary. Attempting to assume this type attitude, we tend to more graciously place things into their proper perspectives. In doing this, we become more sensitive to human values that govern not only the decisions we make, but also the emphasis we place on integrity, morals, and character, that in turn project how we look at ourselves and how others see us. Taking all the previous aspects into consideration, we become conscious of priorities in terms of what our capabilities are and the possibility of achieving the goals we set for ourselves within the framework of our potentials. Dealing with our life's ambitions in this manner, we are suddenly awakened to a point that we find ourselves relinquishing the old dogmatisms and warped concepts we fought to defend only because of our insecurities, where others were concerned, slowly but surely waning away, becoming more compassionate, dedicated, and involved with values and ideals above and beyond the material realm of the spectrum. Realizing now, at this stage of our development, we are gradually sensing the force that bridges the gap where ignorance once prevailed leading to the growth of knowledge. Working now from a different vantage point than before, we see life taking on other forms. We are cognizant now to the extent of our purpose and the preparation necessary to achieve our goals. What does this mean to us? Ask yourself. Should I be concerned with why I am here, or should I put forth every effort to prove I'm deserving of this precious gift? Life is a gift. Working from this premise, I immediately reflect back to gift, and out of sheer humility, I ask my God to make me worthy of such a great and glorious opportunity. Now the hour has come to take a retrospective view from whence we have come. And in these moments of reflection, we know it's God's grace that has been the sustaining force for us all. Once again, through this type revelation, we should find the urgent need and devotion that leads us closer to the cries of our fellow man, disclosing to us the agony and sufferings we have played such a great part in because of our insatiable desire for power, only to recognize that as the cries become more audible and the agony more intense, our reactions suddenly set up a condition by which we see in our people the reflection of ourselves. Oh, what a jolting reality to be shocked into, a realization quite hard to accept. Don't run, the small voice inside whispers. I am what I am. I am you. This takes us to another rung on the ladder. From this vantage point, we have a responsibility far greater to fulfill than before. The gift of life has afforded us many blessings that we may nurture the seeds of this life that involves itself with the total person, rather than misconceived notions that perpetrate and perpetuate ignorance under the guise of formal education being the solution to solving man's insatiable thirst for knowledge. Knowledge is not limited to any race, creed, or color. Though man, in his quest to define his existence, limits the unfolding of universal truths that demonstrate the flow of absolute truths, leading us to the selfless self that only adheres to the God in us all, and reveals itself as love. The love that passeth all understanding. The love that is responsible for all, yet all are not responsible to. Divine love that has the power to create conditions that establishes the peace of the universe, kindling the flame of understanding and knowledge that leads to wisdom. Wisdom leads us to the whole self that relates to the God in man, which is a part of the universal soul.
What inspired you to write that?
The God within.
Did something touch you? Because I notice a lot of your poetry is very intellectual, and you inspire mankind to be better to one another. And you also mentioned that whenever you said you and your siblings were taught to share and to treat others with kindness. And then you said the same thing was also mentioned in your mother's poem about how she would not only take care of you guys, but also people she met.
Yeah, she had a nursery school. Can you imagine, after raising 16 children, then we had a nursery school? You understand? And had a nursery school for over 30 some odd years. And all the grandchildren went to nursery school, and they were taught very well.
Yes, ma'am.
And the nurse is still there. But, you know, Jocelyn hasn't done anything
Mhm.
with it. But, all of the things, Mercedes, that I have written, things that came through me,
Yes,
not
ma'am.
from me,
Mhm.
if you understand that.
Yes, ma'am.
And I don't write unless it's given. I don't write just to sit down and write.
Yeah.
I gotta write. And, you know, I mean, if I'm told to do it, I do it.
Mhm.
Now, I wrote this, and it's called I Enslaved Me. You want to hear this?
Yes, ma'am.
I enslave me when I see me as the ultimate and others as incidentals. I enslave me when I do not take advantage of my resources. I enslave me when I let others dictate what I should be about. I enslave me when I make concessions for my weaknesses at the expense of another's mistake. I enslave me when I fail to execute my ability to think and reason. I enslave me when I submit to accepting things without examining them. I enslave me when I let others set standards by which I must live. I enslave me when I accept profanity as a way of life. I enslave me when I look at differences as opposition. I enslave me when I see others' attributes as a threat to my position. I enslave me when I allow myself to think they are things I cannot understand. I enslave me when I close my eyes to the light that leads to knowledge. I enslave me when I attribute cause and effect to everything material and physical. I enslave me when I refuse to delve to find and understand the universal truths. I enslave me when I misplace my values and do not recognize the difference. I enslave me when I tell part truths and mislead myself and others. I enslave me when I relate to only the things I have an affinity for. I enslave me when I allow myself to purposely be led by those less fortunate than myself. I enslave me when I am blinded by my own ignorance and refuse to do something about it. I enslave me when I disregard the rights of others under the auspices